Hello and welcome to Rev Solutions. Today we're taking the Honda Africa Twin out from Crescent Honda in Southampton. Now this Africa Twin starts at £13,049 on the road. There's obviously different variations of the Africa Twin that you can purchase, and they all come with different price tags as well. So this is the base entry level Honda Africa Twin. No additional features, nice and easy. So this is a single overhead cam, liquid cooled, 8 valve parallel twin engine, and it's got a 1084cc capacity. The brake horsepower comes in at 101, or realistically it's about 100.6 brake horsepower. It's always nice to round it up, and that kicks in at 7,500 RPM. This bike has 105 Newton meters of torque, pumping in at 6,250 RPM. And it has a nice low decibel reading of 73, so you shouldn't have any issues getting this onto most tracks or any off-road tracks that you do go to with high decibel limits. Has an 18.8 litre fuel tank, which is perfect for getting you on your long distance trips. That probably costs you at the moment about £22 to fill up, which isn't extortionate, bearing in mind that it is a 1000cc motorcycle. It's got a slipper clutch, which is really nice. I've felt that kicking a few times. You can just dump the clutch and you don't lock up that rear wheel, which is really nice. A few bikes I've ridden without slipper clutches, you do feel it, and it is a nice little additional feature. It's got a 250mm ground clearance, so again you're going to be able to pump this thing off-road nice and easy, not having to worry about smashing the engine up. But you can always get a smash plate if you do wish to give that little bit of engine protection, just for a peace of mind. The bike dry weight is 226 kilograms. It is a light bike, however it is a high bike. Me being 5'7", this is on the lower seat setting, and I do struggle if it is on a downward slope. I have to try and make sure I'm on a bit more of a level ground, just so I don't step on it and fall straight back off again. So the shorter riders are going to find this a bit of a handful, but when you're on the bike it is pretty straightforward. Right, so the review of the Honda Africa Twin 2020 model. Right, so this is going to be my first impressions of the Africa Twin. I've got this seat on the lowest setting at the moment, and it is quite low. It feels good. The display is nice and clear, nice and crystal clear, as you can see, and we're going to take this for a nice little ride and see what I think of it. Okay, so first impressions, the seat is really hard. Yeah, it's quite a hard seat, I'm not going to lie, but that said, it isn't uncomfortable, it's just hard. With the seat on the lowest setting, it actually gives you like a bit of a bum support in a way, because you've got like a little step up. Now I've got one leg completely off of this bike and I'm flat-footed. The throttle's a little bit jolty to start with, but all in all it's not bad on the first impressions. This visor is horrendous. Straight away it's fogged up. Yeah, so at the moment this bike is in tour mode, and it's working quite well. The throttle is a little bit snatchy. I think the height is something which slightly puts me off. Now the front suspension comes with 45mm cartridge type inverted telescopic forks, and they're a 230mm stroke. The rear is a single shock absorber which is adjustable as well. The front tyre, you're on a 21-inch rim, and the rear tyre you're on an 18-inch rim. Now for a big 21-inch rim at the front, this bike handles really well. It is nimble, it doesn't feel like a big massive tyre, so again the handling capabilities of this bike is really good. Taking it off-road with a big front tyre is going to be no problem whatsoever. When it comes to safety features on this bike, it comes with a 2-channel IMU selectable ABS mode, basically for on-road and off-road settings. So if you do go off-road, you can just completely kill the ABS. You ain't got to worry about that kicking in all the time and causing you any issues when you're trying to get on the off the beaten track. Now the front disc on this bike, you've got a dual 310mm wavy discs with a 4-pot piston caliper, and at the rear you've got a single wavy disc, 256mm, and a single piston caliper. So you've got plenty of stopping power, and using the rear brake every now and again when I've come up to slow stops, it is really good rear brake. I've had no issues with it at all. Some bikes you press the rear brake and it doesn't even feel like you've got it on, so that's a nice feature to know that it does have your back if you need it. The display settings on this bike, you've got a 6.5-inch TFT display. When you start the bike up, it does take a little bit of time to get itself warmed up and get going into it. That's something that Honda could have probably improved on, just to speed up the time. When you've got your likes of your BMWs that as soon as you turn it on they flash up and they're working straight away, it would be nice for this one to do the same. But a few minutes into it and everything works, so it is a really nice clear display, and I'll run you through that shortly. When it comes to the lights on this bike, the rear is an LED and the front are LEDs. You've got nice bright indicators on the bike. There's no issue with the light capabilities on this bike. If it was mine personally, I'd have some crash protection, and I'll probably put some big spotlights and some touring lights on it, just to give that little bit more light when you're trying to move around at night, or even during the day, a little bit more visibility, so hopefully people don't hit you off your bike. So riding this bike, it's not that difficult. Like I said, the seat's hard, but other than that, it is relatively comfortable. Now it's got a 21-inch front rim. For a large bike, it handles really well. Going around the corners, nice and easy. Gear indicator, which is very straightforward to use, you can see it. And also this bike, because it's got the TFT display, below the TFT you've actually got a your miles per hour, your mileometer, and your gear indicator. So if you are using the bike for a sat nav or any specific display and it doesn't have the speed, you will always have your speed at the bottom, which is quite good. Now I look down quite a lot when I'm using the actual left buttons, because there's a hell of a lot on that side. You've got all the controls for the bike, so the last thing I want to do is get it wrong. Now the handlebar position is really comfortable. You're nice and wide, your back is straight, your legs are pretty much at a 90-degree bend. It is a comfy setup. The mirrors, now because the mirrors are really high, you can see really well behind you. There's no issue about like having to bring your elbows in or anything like that. It's really well set up. Pulling away is quite nice. Now I think if I was to have this bike a lot longer, I would find it actually easy to use. And again, pulling away from a complete stop is really easy. Slow manoeuvres on this bike is really comfortable. The throttle and the clutch, they're just so light. When you feather the clutch, it's effortless. Really well built clutch lever on this bike. It just works. Now, with the left-hand controls, it is literally a mishmash of buttons. I think you're gonna have to get used to it. But like I said, if it's your bike and you've been riding it for a while, you're gonna know exactly where everything is. You've got your horn, you've got your indicators, your hazard light is on the near side stalk, you've got your headlight flashers, you've also got all of your TFT display buttons. So everything that you need for this bike is all on that left display. So you don't need to take your hand off of the throttle at all. On the right hand side, you've got your cruise control, your engine start, your engine stop, and the function button. Right, and when it comes to the styling of the Honda Africa Twin, I think they've really hit the nail on the head with this. The colour is real nice, rich red. It's got a nice reflective shine to the paintwork. The seat is quite hard, like I'm saying on the ride. However, it wasn't uncomfortable. It was a hard ride, but not uncomfortable. You can adjust this seat. You basically take this one off, unclip this seat, and then you've got two adjustable sections for this bike. So it's good for the taller rider and for the shorter rider. However, like I have said, if you are short like myself, when you do try and get on the bike, it is a bit of a mission to put your foot up and get on it. So maybe a lowering kit just to drop it 20-30 mil would help quite well. There's no grab rails on this bike. However, that said, underneath the rear seat there's a grab strap. So once you've got that out, you've put it on, you've got a nice leverage point there so you can move the bike about. So that's a nice little feature, and it does make it quite streamlined and sleek at the back, not having big clunky handrails. The models with the panniers, they actually have clip-on sections built in, so again you haven't got any of the big metal brackets sticking out like the CBF 1000 does. Moving to the front of the bike, at the front section for the driver, you've got a nice big clump of controls. This has got your horn, your pass lights, your indicators, your hazards, and also all the controls for your TFT display. That is quite a complex bit of kit, and you've got several different rider modes which can be adjusted whilst you're riding the bike, and also obviously when you've stopped. On the right hand side, you've got your engine start, your engine stop, your function button, and your cruise control, your set button and your minus button, so you can adjust your cruise control when you're riding. Moving around to the front of the bike slightly, you've got nice hand protection around the front handlebars. That takes a little bit of wind chill off your hands, but they are quite narrow ones, so again it's not a big compromise, but it's just something there, just give a little bit of protection. I personally choose to go for larger ones to give a bit more protection. The windscreen isn't adjustable on this, however it does give you really good wind protection. Doing national speed limit, you're not getting any wind battering you in the chest, so even though it's not adjustable, the wind deflection that it gives you is really good. The styling at the front of the bike, I think it looks quite nice. It's quite angry. It's just got a nice single headlight display. It's not chopped in half. It does come in quite tight to the front, and you've got your daytime running lights with the nice LED loops. The radiators are nice and exposed on this one, so it's going to give the engine good cooling temperature capabilities. The forks are all enclosed, so you're not going to get any debris going into the forks there. You've got a nice mud guard, which is doing the job really well on the day like today where the roads are filthy. The front end of the bike is absolutely splattered, but I've stayed nice and clean, which is showing the bike's potential to keep you dry when it rains and also clear from all the mud and debris when you go through the off-road sections. The front wheels are nice and spoked. They give a nice good look to the bike as well. They look good. Underneath you've got your bash plate, again giving good engine protection. You've got good protection around the exhaust as well, which is another nice feature. Honda have also put their signature gold bronze looking engine covers, which is on quite a few of their bikes, which does look really nice. You've got some engine protection here as well. Personally, I'd get a bit more protection, maybe some crash bars, some proper cages to go around the engine frame and protect your fairings and your paintwork. That's if you're going to be taking it off-road, but I think for an off-road style bike it would be quite a nice feature just to have all round, so it looks the business. The exhaust, bog standard exhaust, not the prettiest in the world, but it does its job. It sounds quite nice. When you got high revs and you bring it down, it does pop and bang a little bit, not too much, but it does the job. At the end of the day, if you are going to buy the bike, you're more likely to go change the exhaust for something that suits your needs. You've got your pillion pegs here, nice and easy. At the back of the bike, it tapers up really nicely, like a bit of a off-road adventure style bike. You've got your indicators, LEDs, and the nice mud guard that covers over the back wheel to give you some protection from all the rain and dirt splashing up onto you. So Honda have done really well with the design of this bike. It looks the business. For an entry-level bike, say entry-level, it is an entry-level Africa Twin basic one. It is really, really nice. The price starts at £13,049. You throw a load of optional extras onto that and it obviously will go through the roof, but it'd be well worth it.
Now this specific bike doesn't have panniers or anything like that. However, you can get panniers for the bike, which will add to the capabilities of this for long distance. On the right hand side you've got a USB plug socket, so if you do want to use the Apple CarPlay system, you'll have to have it all plugged into the actual USB socket, but once that's plugged in, it will work nice and easy. You can do text messages and everything you need via your Bluetooth intercom, which is a really smart feature. The wind protection is really, really good on this bike. You can't adjust the windscreen, however there's so much in front of you with the display, you wouldn't need to touch the windscreen. You may want to put like a little clip-on windscreen at the top of it just to divert a bit more air away from you, but even that, I don't think that's going to be required. I might change my opinion slightly when it comes to actually higher speeds, but at the moment definitely not needed. The height of the bike is really good as well, because it gives you a good elevation over whatever's in front of you on the road, cars, anything. It's really, really good. And for over 200 kilograms, this bike, once it's moving, it is really, really light. Again, like most bikes, it doesn't really matter the weight of the bike, as long as they're moving, they are relatively easy to manage. National, how's it pulling fourth gear? You can feel that engine. Yeah, you can really feel the engine, the power of that twin cylinder thumping away.
So with the TFT display, as you can see, it starts up. It is a little bit slow, just go through that. It's nice and bright. You can see exactly what you want to see on here. You've got tour mode, urban mode, gravel mode, off-road mode, so you can just see your actual rev counter, and then you've got your preset user mode 1, user mode 2, so you can actually set them to whatever you want your display settings to be. So you can see for the tour mode, urban mode, they've both got the ABS on, and when you go to the gravel mode, ABS is turned off, traction control is up high. So there's a few settings you can play around on here. Obviously, like most TFT displays, they are quite in depth, so it's going to take you a little bit of time to get used to riding around with these. And down the bottom of the display, you've got your speedo, your gear indicator and your mileometer. Now that is really good, so when you're actually using the TFT display for anything else, even for just a rev counter, or if you've got it linked to your Apple Play and using it as a sat nav, you've still got your miles per hour and your gear indicator situated right in front of you, so you've got no issue with being able to see what speed you're doing on this bike, which is really, really good.
So we're going to go through Bishop's Waltham now and see what the slow handling of this bike is like. So first gear is slightly snatchy. Yeah, first gear is a little bit snatchy. However, once you're out of first gear, it is pretty easy to. What's this guy doing? Just sitting in the middle. So slow manoeuvring is really easy on the bike. Got no issue with that at all. Now keeping the bike upright at slow speeds with a little bit of throttle, again nice and easy, no dramas with that at all. So I think if you were to take this bike off-road, you would really have no problem at all controlling it. So yeah, the Honda Africa Twin, a very good, comfortable, all but the seat, bike to ride. Actually really enjoying this bike.
Do you miss me at all?
Thank you for watching Rev Solutions. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, press the bell for your notifications and give us a big thumbs up. Stay tuned for more videos coming every Friday 6 PM, and we'll see you soon. Ride safe.